Kat, and today I have another big book haul, and we're just gonna get started. I have no excuses, I have no explanations. I just have a crap ton of books that I'm now going to show you. So let's go! So the first book I have here is A Short History of the Girl Next Door by Jared Reck, which is the BOOKSPLOSION Book of the Month pick for October. We're working with Penguin Random House on this one, and I am super excited about it because not only is this a contemporary coming-of-age story, which I really enjoy, but it's also a debut novel, and I love discovering new authors. In this book, we're following a teenage boy named Matt who is kind of in love with his best friend, and he's hoping it's all gonna work out and be like a movie, but then she starts dating a popular senior and he has to deal with that. So yeah, really excited for this one, especially because I've heard that it's very funny, and funny is always a winning quality in a book for me. The live show is happening on November 4th, so I'll put all of the details about that down below in case you want to join us for this read along. The next book I have here is Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, Book 3, The Ship of the Dead by Rick Riordan. And this is the BOOKSPLOSION Book of the Month pick for November. We're doing a paid promotion with Disney-Hyperion, and I am so hyped to read this book. This is the third and final book in the Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard trilogy. It's only a trilogy. I'm preemptively very sad about this book being over, and I haven't even started it yet. But I just love this series so much. Like, I love Rick Riordan's books. I know I'm older than like the target demographic, but they're so much fun and they're hilarious and clever, and I'm really into his books, and this is the third book in this trilogy, and I have a lot of feelings, and I can't wait to see how it all gets wrapped up. Since this is the November book of the month, the live show isn't going to take place until the end of November, early December, so now is kind of the perfect time to read this series, because all three books are out, you can catch up really easily, and you don't have to read all of the Percy Jackson books before you can read this one, because we're dealing with Norse mythology, and there's only some very minor connections to the other series. But yeah, I am super excited about this, and I'll put all of the read-along details down below in case you're planning to join us. Next up, I have a book here that I think a lot of you guys have heard of, and that is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. Now, I'm not going to talk much about this book because, again, I wager many of you have already heard of it, and if not, don't worry, I'm currently reading it, and I will be talking about it more once I finished. But of course I bought this book. Like, I pre-ordered it the day it was announced. I personally love John Green's books. I love his writing and his characters and his stories. Like, he is one of the authors that got me into YA, and he's also an autobiography author for me. Like, I don't even care what the book is about. If he writes a book, I'm going to buy it. I haven't been let down yet, and from the reviews coming in about this, I don't think this one's gonna let me down either. And I'm very excited to finish this video so I can go finish this book. Next up, I have here There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. As a hermit, like, this title is kind of my worst nightmare. Like, I'm already terrified. I'm actually currently reading this book as well. I had to start it on Friday the 13th because I just felt like the stars aligned. So I will be talking about this in more detail soon. But I loved Stephanie Perkins' previous books, and even though this is going in like a different direction compared to her previous books, I'm into it. Like, I've heard it has a similar kind of cute romantic aspect, but also death and murder, and a bunch of people dying in really gruesome ways, which sounds cool. So yeah, I'll share more of my thoughts once I've actually finished. Next up, I have here Blowback 07 and Blowback 63 by Brian Meal. And big thanks to the Blowback trilogy who are helping to sponsor this video. So I have here books 1 and 2 of a trilogy. Book 1 came out last year, and this just came out on September 22nd. Basically, in book 1, we follow two twins, Archie and Iris, who don't really get along with each other, but their mother left them this mysterious instrument. And when Iris plays the instrument, Archie's friend Matt disappears. It turns out he got sent back into time to the year 1907. So now we have Matt, who's stuck in the past, and he's just trying to deal with being in 1907, and the twins have to work together to try to get him back to the present. Now, I love books with time travel, especially time travel gone awry. So I think this is a trilogy that I'm really gonna enjoy, and I'm glad that I have 2 books so I can hit them back to back if I want. Next up, I have here The Princess Bride by William Goldman. Now, this was kind of an impulsive purchase, but also, why did I not already own this book? I adore the Princess Bride movie, and I just rewatched it recently because it was the 30th anniversary of the movie, and I needed to celebrate by rewatching it. And then I was like, this is based off of a book, why don't I own this book? So I bought the book. With this book and movie, it was one of those rare situations where the author of the book wrote the screenplay, which I find really interesting. So yeah, I think in this case particularly, it's gonna be fascinating to see the differences between book and movie. The next book I have here is The Power by Naomi Alderman. Ooh, look at the spine. I dig that spine. Now, I don't know a ton about this book. I mostly picked it up because my friend Monica from She Might Be Monica read this and loved it. Basically, it's adult speculative fiction set in this kind of alternate reality where all the women have developed this power, and that just completely changes the power dynamics of society. And it's told in kind of a different way. It's presented like a history book that is like looking back and discussing what happened and how this event kind of shifted everything. So yeah, it sounds awesome, and combined with Monica's review, I knew I had to get it, so I got it. Oops, it fell. Next up, I have here Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. This is another book that was kind of an impulse buy for me. It's adult literary fiction, which is not what I normally reach for when I'm in the bookstore, but I had just been hearing so much about this book, so many people on Twitter raving about it and just talking about how amazing of a novel it was. And I love amazing books regardless of genre. So the fact that there was so much buzz surrounding this, I was intrigued and I went out and bought a copy. So yeah, I want to get to this soon because I want to see what all the buzz is about. Next up, I have here Warcross by Marie Lu. This is the first book in, I want to say trilogy, but I'm not sure. It takes place in like a virtual reality world. There's bounty hunters and a competition. I love books with video game vibes, and I've loved Marie Lu's other books that I've read. So of course I had to buy a copy of this. I've heard some mixed things about this. Like, some people really enjoyed it and some people weren't that impressed. So I don't know where I'm gonna fall, but I do definitely want to read it because it sounds like my kind of book, and I know I love Marie Lu's writing, so gotta give it a go. The next book I have here is The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. Basically, it's about a boy who lives on a reservation but attends an all-white school, and he feels like he's kind of caught in between these worlds and like these aspects of himself. Now, I actually already own a copy of this book, but the publisher sent me a 10th anniversary edition unsolicited, which I normally don't like receiving random books in the mail. Like, I like receiving books that I choose, but I wasn't mad about this one because I've been wanting to read this book, and this is a pretty cool edition. Can you guys read this inside part? Because this is the part that convinced me that I need to read this book. I gotta get on it. It's been 10 years since it came out. It's time. The next book I have here is Wonder Woman Warbringer by Leigh Bardugo. I still don't completely know how I feel about all of these superhero books in the YA world, but Leigh Bardugo writing Wonder Woman is something that I wanna read. I wanna read that. I think Wonder Woman was the last movie I saw in theaters. Like, I really don't go that often. I loved it though. Like, it was awesome, and I'm excited to see where this book falls on the timeline and how it compares and everything. Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued by this one here. I also picked up the Miles Morales Spider-Man book by Jason Reynolds. And this one I bought mostly because I want to read something by Jason Reynolds. Like, I've heard really great stuff about his writing, and this seemed like a fun place to start. I know this isn't connected to like the Spider-Man movie at all, but I haven't even seen that movie, so there's not gonna be like a comparison or anything in my mind. I can just go into this with a blank brain. It's how I normally go into most things. And finally, I have here Pep Talks for Writers by Grant Faulkner. For those of you who don't know, Grant Faulkner is the executive director of NaNoWriMo. And if you don't know what that is, hi! Welcome! You must be new here. I'll put a link to the NaNoWriMo site down below, so if that is new to you, you can investigate it. But I feel like a lot of you guys probably know what NaNoWriMo is, and also that NaNoWriMo is coming. We're like a week and a half away from the beginning of the madness. So that's super fun. I'm like real excited for it. I'll talk more about my specific NaNoWriMo plans in an upcoming video, but for now, I'm just trying not to think about it because when I think about it, I panic. Fortunately, I have things like this book. I've already spent some time flipping through it and reading some of the pep talks. It's just a great little book full of motivation and inspiration, and I think it will help me quite a bit in the coming weeks. But again, I'll talk more about all this soon. Like, we're still a week and a half away. Let me enjoy the calm before the storm. All right, that is it. Is that it? That is it. That's it. That's it. We're done. We're done. We're so done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I will have another video up soon, so I will see you then. Goodbye! Bye!